Hello, welcome back to Crushing Sounds. My name is Chris, and I'm so excited to welcome a very special guest for today's video. I'm joined by the YouTuber and hurdy-gurdy player for folk metal band Eluveitie, Michalina Malisz. I hope I pronounced your name correctly there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
brilliant.
really close.
That's the
Yeah,
problem. That's the problem when you listen to bands from all other different countries, is getting all their
yeah,
names correct.
that's
So,
true.
yeah, so thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm really good, and yeah, I've been having an enjoyable day. I've been practicing and I've been working on some music, so that was really nice.
Awesome, that's very exciting. So, before we get to the sort of proper interview questions, as it were, I wanted to get my
Yeah.
big fanboy question out of the way for if I were to ever meet a member of the band. How do you pronounce Eluveitie? Because I swear every member of the band says it slightly differently. It's
Yeah, it's Eluveitie. You don't pronounce
Eluveitie.
the U; it's just
Uh,
Eluveitie. Yeah.
you have no idea how long I've waited to find a definitive answer to that question. So, no matter what happens, this has been a success. So during the interview, I want to talk about your stuff you do on YouTube, stuff with
Mhm.
Eluveitie, folk music and hurdy-gurdy really as a subject. But I wanted to start
Sure.
off going right back to the beginning. What what came first for you? Was it discovering heavy metal or discovering hurdy-gurdy as an instrument?
Mm, Definitely heavy metal. I started listening to music really just in general when I was in elementary school. And then I think I was like 12, 13 when I started to discover bands like AC/DC and Metallica and like the usual,
Yeah, of course.
the bands that you just start with usually on your journey. And yeah, so I've been listening to metal for a few years, and then when I was 17, I started listening to Eluveitie, and this is where I basically discovered the hurdy-gurdy, because prior to this, I didn't know it existed.
Of course.
So with this band, I discovered the instrument, and I was really fascinated by it, and I was really like because they don't use the hurdy-gurdy in the traditional folk
Uh, okay.
way, like in the traditional music for hurdy-gurdy. So that was really awesome, and I think it really stands out. And I was really hooked on this sound, and I was like, what is this?
Of
What
course.
is? I didn't know these sounds like that the hurdy-gurdy can make. So I was really fascinated, and I think after 2 years, I decided that I want to try to play it, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
So the
fantastic.
heavy metal first.
Yeah, because most people when they get into heavy metal, I know this is definitely the case for me. It's like I want to do the guitar or the drums or the bass, but hurdy-gurdy, that's a very unique kind of instrument to latch onto.
Yeah, it is.
Was it very much the? Did you like see Eluveitie and you just was like, I want to make music like them, or was it just you saw Anna Murphy and be like, I want to be like that? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it was everything all together, like everything you mentioned.
Yeah,
And yeah, before that, when I was like in middle school, I also started to learning the guitar, but it was really complicated for me. So I've been there, like I'm listening to heavy metal, I want to play the guitar, I've been there, but it was incredibly difficult for me to learn.
okay.
And it was like really complicated, so I just stopped. And I remember when I started listening to Eluveitie, it was so unique, and it was just amazing. I was so immersed in this music, and it made me feel in a really special way that no other band made me feel before. So it was just this incredible experience, and I thought, like, I want to make music like this, and I want to play this specific
Yeah,
instrument because this one is the coolest of them all.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course, Anna was a huge role model for me, and I've basically learned how to play by playing Eluveitie tunes. So that was yeah, it's just really tightly connected.
yeah, of course. Because it's interesting that you say you found guitar complicated, because I'm a guitarist myself, but watching you play the hurdy-gurdy with just your hand like a spider moving across that thing, to me, that is, I can't even mentally comprehend what exactly you're doing there. So yeah, it's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
see it.
Interesting to how
Yeah.
different people take to different instruments and whatnot. So just for those uneducated and people who are completely missing out, just brief description, what is a hurdy-gurdy? Or like, I know it might be quite hard to describe without having one in front of you, but just, I'd imagine a lot
I
of people
have
might not
one
know.
just here, so I can, yeah, I can show it to everybody. So it looks like, I don't know if we can get it in the, frame. It looks like this.
Yeah, no instrument quite like it, really.
Yeah, here's the crank. So it is a traditional instrument, which is like a combination of violin and piano, I would say, because it has a keyboard. It's right here. This is the keyboard, and it also looks like a really big, a little bit. Oops, that happens.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah, like a weird viola or violin. Violin is a little bit smaller.
Sure.
But yeah, it has wheel and the crank mechanism instead of the bow. So we play by turning the wheel around with the crank and pressing the key in the same time. So it's like a violin with the wheel and the piano because of the keyboard. So I would describe it like this. And it's mostly used in traditional music, folk music. Yeah, that's the main area where it is used.
Yeah, cool. If anyone else is interested in seeing it in action, you can check out your channel. You've got loads of different videos showing it off.
Absolutely, please
cool
come
stuff.
over.
Yeah, I'll leave a link to all your sites and channels in the description so people can go check it out.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
So just talking about YouTube, obviously prior to Eluveitie, you were putting up various Eluveitie and other band covers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And YouTube is very much something you still do today. What was it that drew you to YouTube in the first place, and what keeps you there now?
Well, when I started out, when I was learning the hurdy-gurdy, I've been only interested in playing Eluveitie music. I was not interested in learning the traditional tunes or the traditional approach, and I was just strictly focused on learning Eluveitie because it was just such a huge thing for me back then. So I just wanted to play only this, and it was the best music, and I just loved it, listened to it every day, played it every day. It was awesome. And I've been searching for hurdy-gurdy covers of Eluveitie, and I haven't found any. So I thought, like, well, I might as well do it because nobody else is doing that. And I was really curious how the melodies are in the songs, how they go, and sometimes they are not really prominent in the mix. So I was just trying to figure that out, and yeah, that's basically how I started. Then I started playing different other bands and doing covers, and I was just a little bit concerned if people will like it if I start playing different bands and other bands, but I just went for it, and it worked out pretty well. And well, right now it's just, I just treat it as my job, I would say.
Okay.
I want to grow my channel, I want to grow my audience, I want to play music, I want to play the hurdy-gurdy, I want to make it more popular than it is, because for me, I've been playing it for 6 years, I think now. And for me, it's like totally obvious that this instrument exists. So many different people play it. It's being used in many different bands and genres. And I still, to this day, get comments like, I've seen this instrument for the first time in your video or something like this. Or I've just seen this like for the first time in my life in general, and I'm like, okay, so this is something that I want to be doing still because people are still discovering it. So that's a very important part, and yeah, I would say it's part of my job.
Awesome. I would imagine keeping on top of your channel during various Eluveitie touring schedules can be very tricky. Do you have sort of a way of balancing the two, or when does LVT take over from time to time and you have to leave the channel sort of on pause, as it were?
Well, last year, for example, it was pretty difficult for me to keep the schedule consistent. I mean, to keep posting consistently, because we've been touring so much, and I've been like on tour for like a few solid months last year. This year, for example, of course, it's totally different, and I can just really focus on that. What I was doing last year, for example, was I've been gathering ideas, and I've been recording videos whenever I was home, just for the future, and I was scheduling them and just planning them. So it was probably like one video per month or something like this. But it's I would say it's not that bad, because of course, for every video you have to practice, you have to prepare everything, you have to learn the things that you want to say or play. So I would say this is okay. And for now, I can just record whenever I'm ready. Sure. And yeah, I have a lot of time to prepare and just post once a month, 2 times a month maybe. So I think this is really, really awesome. But for the more busy times, it's just you have to prepare this beforehand and then schedule it for the future.
Yeah. Obviously, current climate of how things are in the world today, there aren't very many shows. Most bands aren't touring and whatnot. And I can imagine, well, I'm in a band as well, and all our shows have been cancelled. So it is a very frustrating time for musicians, really. So a lot of artists have taken to social media, namely YouTube, to give fans some sort of content. You, of course, have been doing this YouTube thing for a lot longer. But I was wondering, during this frustrating time where we're all feeling quite stagnant, do you find being active on social media and YouTube helps kind of satiate that need to put some creativity out there?
Definitely. It's just a really great tool to connect with the fans and connect with the people that actually want to listen to your music. Yeah. And I think it's also really important for the artists to give this kind of distraction and entertainment to their fans, so that we can all together survive it somehow.
Of course. And you would definitely recommend for bands that haven't done so to definitely get involved in that?
I would say so.
Yeah.
If you haven't done something like this before, it may be a little bit weird for you to just get into it, because it's a little bit different than just your regular shows or something like this. But if there is a band that hasn't done that until now, then I would definitely recommend. But I don't think anybody is like hesitating
of course.
to come on YouTube and do like videos or film rehearsals or film like live streams or something like this. I think pretty much every band I know is doing this right now.
Yeah,
so
live streams have very much come into their own.
Now. That's true.
Yeah. To go back to your YouTube channel, I love the 5 riffs series thing that you've got going on your channel. For those who don't know, you take classic riffs from great bands and rearrange them for hurdy-gurdy. I love especially how wide it is. You've got everything from Gojira to Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath to System of a Down. I know the singer of my band really gets a kick out of System of a Down, so you really like that one. So how easy or how hard is it to transpose from guitar to hurdy-gurdy? Because, as I said, for me, they seem very, well, to me as a layman, they seem dissonant. Maybe they're not.
Well, it definitely needs some adjusting. So I would say the first thing that I do is I just search for melodies and for riffs that I know will translate well to the hurdy-gurdy, because not all of them are flexible enough, and this instrument is also not like the craziest when it comes to dynamics and articulations and stuff like that. So I just look for the ones that I think will work well with the hurdy-gurdy, and then I try to adjust the key, for example, because this is also not always working with the original tune. So my tuning for the hurdy-gurdy is I have two strings, C and G, and the C then like one octave higher, so it's three strings, but two notes basically, and I can like tune it down, for example, to B flat or A or something like that, and then try to figure out what would be a nice tuning, and then we just arrange the riffs in Cubase so that they fit together. And yeah, the most important thing is that the key of the riffs is consistent, so that all of them are in the same key for the medley. And that's basically it.
Yeah,
I would say.
cool. So you say it's not the craziest instrument. However, when I watched your System of a Down one during the song "Sad Statue," what is that crazy as hell slide thing that happens? Like,
the slide?
Yeah, there's like weird noise. It's like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, you can do a slide on the hurdy-gurdy if you open the. And you cannot see it right now, but if you open the key box. I don't know if you can hear that, but
just about getting it. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
It's just like, whoa. Yeah, every instrument has a great slide on it. So,
yeah.
So given all these different metal bands you've covered from across the metal spectrum, how do you decide which band to do next?
I basically do the bands that I like.
Of course. Yeah, nothing more to it.
The bands that I enjoy, the bands that a lot of people enjoy, so that I can learn something from these melodies. Sometimes I don't know the bands that well, and I just discuss it with my husband, because he knows a lot of the classic metal bands, Iron Maiden and stuff like that. So we just brainstorm on the ideas. And yeah, I don't listen to all the bands that I cover, but I really like to get to know new music, and I can learn a lot of things on the hurdy-gurdy from covering these riffs, because I have to figure out sometimes how to play a particular note or something like this, or like I don't know, effect or whatever, tremolo or something like this, and then I just have to work it out on the hurdy-gurdy, and it adds to my how do you say, to my skill set, I would say, as a hurdy-gurdy player. So it's really, really awesome if I learn something new from a band that I didn't know. It's the best feeling. Like, I really like it.
Yeah,
I also do it for the learning experience.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. I think it's your videos are a testament to how well folk instruments such as the hurdy-gurdy just work brilliantly within heavy metal. For example, your Master of Puppets cover is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
That's all right. I would challenge any heavy metal purist who thinks folk metal wouldn't work to not hear that and just start banging their heads like it's any other Master of Puppets rendition. Why do you think folk instruments just work in heavy metal? Because it's not something that I'm sure a lot of people getting into metal would assume it would work.
So the question is, why the folk instruments work in metal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
might be a very deep question in hindsight.
Yeah, I think it's a really big question, but also you can approach it from the side of just playing the metal music or metal riffs or things particular for metal music on different instrument. It doesn't have to be folk instrument. It can be a cello, for example, which works brilliantly, as we all know, with metal. And well, if a big part of that is also arrangement and musical context, because if you just, I don't know, take the hurdy-gurdy or take a fiddle or whatever you're playing and just play some metal riffs, it doesn't quite do the trick. You just have to have the heavy metal context for that, like drums and bass. Sorry.
That's all right.
And yeah, I think it can sound quite cool if you play metal on the violin solo, for example. But for the full effect, you just need to pair it with the drums and the bass, and maybe put some distortion on. So yeah, I would say it can. Yeah, absolutely. It can work, but you just have to adjust it a little bit.
Cool.
And I think you can do it on pretty much all instruments. If you have the right context and the right adjustment for the folk section, I think it can work pretty well.
Of course, yeah. So, are there any videos that you've done and you think back and you think about them now and you think you really think they came out well, or you remember really enjoying one in particular?
I think my latest video was really, really cool, and it was a nice experience, and I really enjoyed playing these particular riffs.
Mm-hmm.
That was the System of a Down video, and I also like how it came out visually. I think my Witcher cover also was a great experience. Not only because the song is really, really awesome, but also we just made a little video clip for that, and that was really, really cool. I'm really proud of how this video like came together. I really like my Lamb of God cover and also my Monuments cover.
Oh yeah.
I think the Monuments one is my favorite.
Awesome.
Because I've been practicing so long for this one, and it really, really came to be something cool and unique, and I just like to watch it from time to time.
Yeah, brilliant. My favorite's the Pirates of the Caribbean one. I'm a sucker for film scores, so that was a really cool one. I like that one.
Yeah, that was really awesome as well.
Yeah, costume was on point as well. Really cool.
Thank you.
So one last question regarding your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I also really got a kick out of the whole band rendition of Wishmaster by Nightwish. What was the sudden inspiration to do a whole band cover?
Well, we've been thinking about ideas for the video, of course, and I just work on my YouTube channel in general together with my husband, who played the bass and the guitar for that cover, and we thought like it would be a nice idea to just show everybody involved, not just me, because maybe it's getting a little bit boring, because I am by myself in all the other videos, like I think almost all the other videos. So we just had this idea it would be really interesting to just include everybody in the video and show the different instruments that we played, the hurdy-gurdy, the flute, the bass, drums, everything. And it also fit nice to the current aesthetic of YouTube videos, because now all the bands are doing videos like each band member is recording themselves, and they just record their songs like this. So I thought it would just fit nicely. So yeah, that's basically like why we did it like that.
Cool. Yeah, it comes across really well. It's a really cool video.
Thank you.
That's all right. So obviously I couldn't let this interview go on much longer without getting into some talk about Eluveitie. From the earliest videos on your channel, it's clear you've always had a massive admiration for the band. Do you remember do you remember what the first kind of Eluveitie you found that sort of introduced you to them, or is that going too far back?
Well, I remember that very well. I was at a show. It was Children of Bottom show, and it was just one of the songs was just used as a working music. Like there was a changeover, and it just played one of Eluveitie songs. It was Thousandfold, and I remember thinking to myself, this sounds really cool and really original, and I've never heard something like that before. And then I came across them again on Last FM, if
Oh, yeah.
somebody still remembers this
Yeah.
website.
I remember last time. It was
I
hard to
was,
discover a hailstorm.
oh yeah, it was great for discovering new music, I think. And I started listening to them. It was I think, when was that? 9 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
9. Yeah, something about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
that was my beginning.
Yeah, so seeing them live was very much the sort of catalyst for what came later. So how did you end up getting the gig as a member of Eluveitie? How did that happen?
Well, it was just a huge surprise for me, of course, as you can imagine, probably. And it was thanks to my YouTube channel, definitely, because I've been posting so many different Eluveitie songs there. And one day I've just gotten a message on Facebook from a profile that had Krigel's photograph and his name on there. But I was just, and the message was like something like, I really enjoy your videos, they're great, nice playing, whatever. So I was like, yeah, of course, somebody just took his picture and started a profile, and they are yeah, trolling me or whatever that is. something like this, catfishing as Krigel. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And then I went on with my day, and on the same day in the afternoon they announced the split with Anna, Ivo, and Merlin. And then it clicked in my head that maybe this is not a fake account, maybe this is real, and maybe I can just well, what I answered to the message was basically, if I can help you in any way, I am willing to do anything, like whatever you need in this situation.
Yeah.
And we've just exchanged a few messages, few phone calls, and then emails, and then 1 month after that I was on my way to the rehearsals. So that was just it happened pretty fast. Wow. And yeah, it was just incredibly crazy for me.
Yeah.
it was
so like
shocking.
Yeah, so like no audition, no submission, it was just coming to rehearsals
No.
one day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty insane.
Yeah. But after that, we were still not sure if we will still work together, because of course Anna was singing, and I don't really sing. So it was just the matter of finding maybe finding somebody else that will play and also sing. But in the end, we've just settled for the lineup that we have right now, and I think it works out amazingly.
Yeah, so it's a great new lineup, I think.
Yeah.
So, I've always wanted to know, when someone joins a band that's already been going for years and found much success, released a load of albums already, do they expect you to know how to play every single song they've ever done? Or do they give you like the main sort of live shows that you'll be doing?
Well, I've received a set list for the show that we will be playing. So for the month that I was preparing for the rehearsals, I had the time to learn the songs that I didn't know before, but it was not that many of them, because all the most popular songs I knew. Some that were just new for me were not the most complicated ones. So it was just it didn't take me so much time to prepare for the shows. And then after the first shows, when we were preparing the set list, we were discussing if everybody knows the songs. If not, that we should learn it and then put it on the set list. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, awesome. So you join Eluveitie, and obviously they're known for their metal meets folk. So were you aware that when you joined the band, the first album you'd be doing by them was Evocation 2, which is just folk music, no metal, just folk music? Yeah, so was that a bit of a, oh, okay. Not an album down, it's a great album, but you know.
Yeah, that was my first recording experience with Eluveitie. And I don't feel as connected to the Evocation albums as to the other ones, because I prefer the metal ones much more. And Evocation one is a really great album, and I really like to listen to it. But I am more drawn to the metal side of Eluveitie, I would say, or to the metal songs. And for me, it was, I mean, it was just what we were doing at this time. So it was, I was not disappointed by any, like at any point that, oh, we are doing an acoustic album right now. No, it was all good, and the songs are really amazing, and the lines for the hurdy are really, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really great experience, but I had much more fun, and I was much more excited about the next album and the next recordings. So yeah, but I remember them both as a really great experience, and there's no hierarchy between them. Oh, I like this more, so it's more valuable as an experience or something like that. No, I like both of them. So.
Yeah, they're both great albums for different reasons, pretty much.
Sure. Yeah.
I've always wondered with bands that have a lot of members in them, you know, Eluveitie, Slipknot, that kind of thing. How much input does each individual member have when it comes to the creation of new music? Because I kind of envisage Kriegel being like the big guy in charge of coming up with new stuff, or do you all have input equally?
Well, for us, the main person that comes with ideas is Kriegel, of course, because he has all the knowledge that is necessary for writing this kind of music and lyrics, especially. And he just writes the music in general, and then like the outline or something like this, or sometimes he writes full songs and like riffs included and stuff like that. And on the next level, he's working, like, not level, it's the next basically step in songwriting. He works together with Jonas. So they are working on arranging the metal section and the bass, and also I think he has a lot of input from Alan, from our drummer. And after this all is like more or less put together, we start recording at this point. And if something is not ready, then each individual member can come up with ideas. Cool. So, and of course it's not like we can't write songs or something like that. Sure. We are always welcomed with ideas for songs, with like tunes that we want to use and stuff like that. But it happens more often at the later stage, that we have the song already and we come up with our parts, like for the hurdy-gurdy or for the flutes or something. I remember for Ateknatos, I've written quite a few parts for this album. So yeah, it happens when we are already at the studio usually. And before that, it's Kriegel who comes up with the album concept, with the like outline for what the songs will be and all of that.
Cool, awesome. So having seen you guys live, I saw you at Bloodstock last year. You guys stole the festival. It was amazing.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, it was so good. I never thought I'd see the day where I'd see on stage a flute, a guitar, harsh vocalist, hurdy-gurdy, clean vocalist, violin, and a whole field of metalheads just losing their minds. It was a sight to behold. What's it like when you're up there and you see all that carnage happening in front of you? Because it must be pretty surreal.
Yeah, it is. Every time that we go on stage, it's, at least for me, it's a really unique experience that people are actually coming out to listen to our music. I think every artist has this feeling when they go up on stage, like this is crazy, because these people want to listen to me and want to watch me, and they sacrifice their time, and they paid for the ticket just to see the band. So this is always an amazing experience. And seeing people having a good time in the crowd, this is like the best reward you can have for writing music, and seeing them connect with you through your work. That's the best.
Yeah, awesome. Jumping back a bit, do you remember your first show with Eluveitie? Do you remember how that went? Yeah, very
yeah,
quick.
yeah, I remember it really, really well.
I can imagine.
So it was,
Sorry.
yeah. I just want to say that it was in Germany, 2016, and we had major technical issues at the beginning of the show. It was just like all over the place, but it was fine. I mean, I was not stressed. Maybe I don't remember being stressed because I was really shocked.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really afraid. I would say it like this. I wasn't afraid because I knew that people love Eluveitie, and I used to come to their shows, and people were always amazing and welcoming and participating in the show. So I was not really stressed about that. But otherwise, it was quite an experience. Yeah, crazy, surreal, and I remember it being really really bad from the performance standpoint. Maybe not from playing, but just stage presence.
Sure. Yeah.
It was just like no, it was horrible. yeah, it was just really, really bad.
Oh well, as I say, at Bloodstock, it was fantastic. So I'm sure that there must have been immense pressure based on whom you were replacing, because Anna Murphy had, of course, been in the band a long time. Fans are very sad to see her go. Of course, now we know you fit right in. You and Fabienne are both fantastic at filling her role. But do you remember? Do you remember feeling a lot of pressure following on from Anna Murphy?
Well, not really. To be honest, for me, it was much easier of an experience than for Fabienne, because you know how it is when it comes to vocals. Mm-hmm. It's just such a personal thing for the vocalist. This is their voice, and like it's unlike anything else. So it's not really possible to have the exact replacement for this kind of stuff. And also, a vocalist is somebody who's more present in some ways on stage and in connecting with fans. So this is a different topic than just instrumentalist being replaced.
Sure.
And it of course works for the instrumentalist as well, because somebody has a particular style of playing or just particular feeling in their playing, of course, but it's not as extreme as for the vocalists, right? For the vocals, like when the vocalists change in the band, is like a massive change.
Sure. And
also massive how do you say it? It just impacts the fans a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, it was not that hard. Because I was playing and I kind of blended in with the band. But for Fabi, I think it was a much more difficult experience for her.
Sure.
But right now it's all good, and I think everybody is in terms with how we work right now. So
yeah. Well, I know I certainly have definitely come around to this new lineup. I think is the best lineup the band have had for my money.
Thank you so much.
So moving on to some of your other work, you of course have your company Instruments. Is this you trying to expand awareness of the hurdy-gurdy pretty much?
Yeah, it's about that, and also about trying to fill in the gap kind of on the market of this kind of instruments, especially hurdy-gurdys, because you cannot go to the music store and buy a hurdy-gurdy, or you cannot just order it from wherever you want and have it like in a week delivered to your house. This is not possible because of how complex this instrument is and how much time and expertise it takes to build it. So I don't see hurdy-gurdys being mass produced, like really mass produced in the nearest future. I don't think that's possible, because
Sure.
there has to be someone who just checks everything and adjusts it like a human. Not it cannot be. I think it could be done by a machine, but it would have to be a really complicated machine. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
sort of like guitars, which are just sort of molded and straight through, strings wound and go, really. So
yeah, you can probably, you can do. I mean, I'm not an expert in luthier, so I don't really know. But yeah, it's really more complex than a guitar or a violin, so to say. And the demand for the instrument is really big, because there's a lot of fans and a lot of musicians that want to try it out. And the options that are on the market are, you can order, I mean, you can of course have some second-hand instrument, but it's not really, like, it's really rare you can find one.
Yeah.
Then what you can do is order a really simple instrument, which doesn't cost, I mean, the cost, the entry cost is like €1,000, something like this. It's like, you don't really go below that.
Wow.
If you want to have a more complicated hurdy-gurdy than 3 strings, like melody, trumpet, and drone. This is like the 3 you can have. And if you want more strings, then you have to, of course, pay more. But I think there's a few options below 1,000, but you really have to do your research if you want to go for this, because it's not always playable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then you can either order a hurdy-gurdy from a luthier that will like build a really high-end instrument for you, and for that you have to wait, of course, and the waiting lists are like between 6 months up until 5 years. 5 years is the longest that I've heard. So it's pretty like average that you wait 2 years for an instrument like that.
Wow.
So this was also discouraging for people, and there's not that many luthiers who build hurdy-gurdys. There's I would say there's still enough space for new luthiers to come and start building hurdy-gurdys, because some are retiring, and the ones that are already on the market, they're just fully booked. You just have to wait 2 years, 1 year, sometimes more for your instrument. So that was a problem that we've noticed on the market. The other thing is, this is quite a lot of money for an instrument that you don't know you will like,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
You have to order something for, let's say, $1,000, $2,000 or euros, and you don't know if you will be able to play it. You don't know if you will like it. There's not so many teachers. It's just really rough, I would say. You have to, sometimes you have to teach yourself. You have to learn how to adjust the instrument, which includes some DIY skills, like you just have to be able to glue something, you have to be able to drill a hole, and this kind of stuff. So it's a really special instrument in so many dimensions and so many aspects that it's not that easy to acquire one, I would say. But now with time, it's getting more popular, more people are getting interested in how to build it, and it's great because there's still so many people that want to try it out, and so many people interested in getting one and playing and learning. So yeah, this is that was very important for us, because people were asking me a lot, like, where can I buy hurdy-gurdy? Why is this so expensive? Why does it take so much time? And stuff like that. So we're like, we'll start building them, and then we will see what happens. And that was a huge step in our lives. And because I have the company together with my husband. and yeah, it's really rewarding as well that people can get a hurdy-gurdy from us, and we can also tell them, like explain the instrument to them and stuff like that, because this is a really important part of being a luthier who builds hurdy-gurdys. At least in my opinion, you also have to educate people, or you don't have to, but you kind of you have the ability to explain this to them and to just walk them through the instrument and show them the basic stuff about it. So it's not only building instruments and selling them, this is also advising people and also educating them on the topic, which I think is really amazing, and I really like the part of the job. And I'm actually doing that because I work as a customer service. So yeah, for the advisory, I'm doing that, and for repairs and more manual stuff, my husband is doing that. Like, we are sending a lot of videos to our customers and stuff like this. So.
Yeah, I think it's also very important that we, well, I say we, I'm not doing it, you guys, just because we need heavy metal fans to be inspired by these kind of instruments, because then we won't have great folk metal, because if all the metalheads go to guitars and drums, then folk metal doesn't exist anymore. So I think it's a very important thing that you guys are doing, so hats off to you for doing all that.
Thank you.
So I'll come to what I hope is a bit more of a thought-provoking question, then we'll do a couple quick-fire fun questions to wrap up. Folk metal,
sure.
Folk metal obviously is a very wide-sounding genre due to how people interpret the folk part in it. For example, you have Eluveitie, which is very folk-inspired instrumentation, also in Sephirum, I like that. But you've also got bands like Winter Philith, which don't have folk instrumentation, but they sing about English folklore, so people call them folk metal. Me and my brother debate, are Ailstorm a folk metal band or a power metal band? We can't decide. So with all that in mind, here's the thought-provoking question: what is folk metal to you?
I would say I don't have any particular image of a folk metal band in mind, because as you said, you can have a folk metal band without folk instruments. This is like if you are able to maybe this is more about the atmosphere of the band or the topic that the band is dealing with, because if you can evoke this atmosphere with your lyrics and with how you arrange the instrumental parts, this is a folk metal band as much as a band for violin. This is just a matter of your interpretation of the topic that you are dealing with. I would say the topic is really important, because you can have a band that has a violin player in it and it won't be a folk metal band, because they don't use traditional melodies, or they don't deal with topics that are covered usually by folk metal bands. So mythology and folklore and traditional music. So I would say it's a pretty broad category. It's only defined by the topic that the band is dealing with. That's my definition, I would say.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. So I just got a couple of very quick fire this or that questions, just an easy way to ease us to the end. So you don't have to think too hard about these, just some quick questions for fun. So traditional metal or thrash metal, which is better?
Traditional.
Metallica or Slayer?
Metallica.
Favorite song to play live?
There's a lot of them. Neil, Rebirth, Deathwalker, Breathe. I have a lot of them, so that's just a few.
Rebirth. We'll go with Rebirth. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Hardest song to play live?
Deathwalker and Worship.
Do you prefer breakdowns or sing-alongs?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay, but let's go with breakdowns.
Breakdown.
Okay, they are equal, but if I have to choose, breakdowns.
Sweet. Favorite city?
Do I have one? I don't know. I really like my city that I live in, which is Krakow.
Oh, I've been there. That's a beautiful city.
Yeah. I like a lot of Swiss cities in Switzerland. I like a lot of American cities in the USA. I like Copenhagen. I like a lot of cities. I can't decide.
Favorite movie?
I don't know. I'm not such an avid movie watcher, but the last movie I watched and I really like. Oh, I know. Okay, let's go with the not. It's not a particular movie, but I really love Guy Ritchie's movies. They are brilliant. I love them.
Good answer.
Guy Ritchie is the man.
Good answer. And lastly, favorite album by Eluveitie?
Everything Remains as It Never Was.
Nice. Good choice. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been great. It's been a really fun thing to do. Yes, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really lovely, and I really enjoyed the interview as well.
Thank you very much. I'll put links to your YouTube page and your website down in the description below.
Cool.
Thank you so much.